Okay, I'm going to try to actually answer the question in 3 minutes. Too often the city takes an adversarial position with you, whether it's a citizen or the business. They treat you as adversaries. And we talked about streamlining certain processes. The city has this attitude, no, or I'll see you in court. I think we have to develop greater partnerships with you and quit trying to tax you to death or feed you to death. Under Tax Watch, we were, and under some of the ideas of that, it's all about cost per service, cost per citizen, and under a not zero-based budgeting, but I had a brain gas. But under my budgeting philosophy, we're going to look at the efficiencies of each program and gauge the priority by performance review, by citizen input, and we're going to take a lot of things, as I've said, off the menu. But through these partnerships and by not taxing you or raising all of these fees for you to do business, by keeping more in your pocket with you spending throughout the community, I think that has a lot to do with your successes. Now, as far as spending, yeah, it is out of control. And giving you specifics, I think that we have to look at, especially in this day and age, areas of government where we can consolidate. There is a lot of duplication in the services, whether it's provided by the county or the city. We've been reluctant to do that in the past, but I think now is the time to actually look at where we don't have a decreased quality of the product or quality of the service, but where we can gain efficiency of scales and stop the duplication of the service. I think we can make up a lot of ground if we look at consolidation. You pay as much to the county government as you do the city government, and I think it's time that we try to get our fair share there. I think that under my Foster formula, we're looking at not taxing you to death, but we're going to ask you to do more as a volunteer. And I think we need to coordinate and ask you to do more in volunteering, whether it's in parks and recreation, whether it's maybe maintaining a rec center, or at least assisting. Community work days. If we just coordinate and provide the tools necessary to help you do that, we're really going to ask more of you, but not more of your money. I think that we have ways that we can reduce our budget looking at mid-level management and looking at a reduction of our labor force and our labor cost. And you'll find some of that if we do look at consolidation. But I think there are other ways. One small example. Reduce our health insurance costs by requiring health screenings and things like that. Wow, I had a revenue generator that I want. I'll get to my revenue generator.
Thank you very much. All right, here's the big one, because this is what a lot of these people in this room, and myself included, in the spirit of full disclosure and transparency, because that's what we're all about, are concerned about. As mayor, in line 10 of the amendment of the 10th Amendment, in the line with the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, it reads as follows: "The powers not delegated to the United States Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people." Again, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. In an event of a catastrophic event, God forbid, such as a Hurricane Andrew, how would you define the roles of federal, state, and city government? Knowing what we know about the Constitution and the 10th Amendment, and the event of a catastrophic event like a hurricane, such as Andrew or some others that have come through, how would you define the roles of federal, state, and city government? Mr. Williams. And you have 3 minutes.
Well, first of all, the city of St. Petersburg does have a plan in place for the hurricane. I would aggressively make sure that my first priority day one would to make sure that everything's in place to make sure that the city is safe, and we take charge of our own city to start with. As far as the state also has a plan in place, and we've done quite well from the state level of protecting ourselves and being warned and taking care of hurricanes. And finally, the example from the federal government, I guess the federal government has a lot to learn about how the city and some of the cities in the state of Florida and the state of Florida has done. But in a natural disaster, first priority of the mayor, it would be to protect the citizens here. That's what the job is for. That's why you pay taxes. That's why we have reserve funds. And so early warnings, those type of things, the state again has done a good job. The federal government, I don't know how to respond to that other than their track record has certainly not been as good as what we have been able to accomplish in the state and statewide.
Stuff going first on that one, not going second. Role of the various governments, I've got to say, we cannot sit back and rely upon answers or any remedy initially from Washington, D.C. or Tallahassee. We have to be prepared right here in the city of St. Petersburg, and we have a good plan. I was on the city council when we adopted a lot of these plans with our EMS system, or the EOC system. We deploy tractors and heavy large-scale equipment with personnel and secure facilities during a hurricane and natural disaster throughout the city. They are the first responders. We have medical personnel. All hands are on deck during an emergency. We have enough water. We have these water bladders that we can fill up to provide disaster drinking water to you. You are also responsible for your own actions. Don't depend upon any government initially to be there to bail you out. If you have an evacuation order, get the heck out. I live in Shore Acres. We leave. But I am responsible first for my family. And when they tell you to get a hurricane kit, by golly, get one. And you are responsible for providing your own water, medicines, food, your pets, and all of that. Don't sit back and rely upon your government to do that. Now, the city will come in and work with the utilities to restore water and sewer and all of the things that you need, but don't rely upon it. You can only rely upon yourself. County government is there as a backup, but don't expect anybody to come looking for you within the first few days if it truly is a disaster. But in the low-lying areas, there's going to be an evacuation. You shouldn't even be there to begin with. Your state responsibility, they are kind of your third tier, first city, well, first you, then city, then county. State of Florida, the governor flies over and assesses and gets all the pats on the back, but the state will eventually make their way in to provide some of the backup services that we need. The federal government is going to be the last thing you should rely upon to get you out of harm's way and to get you through this. Now, the federal government will be there with some assistance to assist once everyone has been assessed and is safe. The federal government will be there with some rebuilding options, but I can say we do have adequate reserves in the city of St. Pete. We have as much insurance on our facilities that money can buy, which is really only half of its value, but we've been good stewards to this point with your money, and we have the things in place to keep you safe. But the role of government, no. You can only rely upon yourself, and I encourage you to always think like that.